Tabletop time, and I'm Dave. Wait, no. I'm Jen. And today I'm so excited to bring you guys this project. Now, this has probably been about 2 years in the making. Back in the old studio, Rob, Dave, and I all sat down and we decided to build some terrain. We had this awesome piece from Miniature Scenery. It was a cathedral made of MDF, and we spent the whole day building it. It was amazing. But then it kind of got shelved for a bit, which is kind of a shame. But we had a lot happening in 2021. We moved to a new studio, we made some new friends. It was great. So I'm thinking for the start of 2022, it's time to bring this project back. Like some of the projects that we've been doing, I really want to push the limits here. I want to do an amazing job on this build. I have some awesome ideas that I want to go through with you guys. So this video concept's going to be a couple of smaller videos explaining in detail how I'm going to make this terrain piece come alive. But first things first, I've got to put the whole thing back together and just make sure it's all in working order. I need to lay down the foam for the board itself. Now, this fits perfectly on my little table, but unfortunately I am gonna have to make it a little bit longer. But for the purposes of today, this is just gonna be perfect. I should be able to set up everything. So firstly, I'm just gonna put all of the pieces out and just make sure that everything is here and ready to go. The design for this is really intuitive. You can really put the pieces wherever you want. They've got little jagged edges on the side so you can mix and match however you want. I kind of just wanted to keep it the way that Miniature Sceneries had set it up, but I wanted to make it just a little bit longer. I want to make sure that there's enough room for playability so players can move their arms into the scenery and not get caught on anything. And the way that this has been designed is perfect. The way the buildings are crumbling and breaking apart means that spreading it out isn't really an issue. To glue everything together this time, I decided just to go with good old super glue. Last time we used wood glue, but it took quite a while to dry, and I really just want to get this thing going. And there wasn't too many pieces to glue back together. Luckily enough, it kind of stood the test of time, but I just wanted to make sure that everything was nice and strong and wouldn't break off in the process. Again, spending hours having put this together with Dave and Rob, I kind of remembered where all of the missing pieces went. They're so unique in their shape that it didn't take me too long to remember exactly where things went. In my downtime, I've been working on a Sisters of Battle army. So I've been getting really into like religious sort of figures and iconery. So this project is perfect for me at the moment. I actually plan to base my sisters on a cathedral and with stained glass and roses everywhere. So this is a really cool board for me if I ever actually do want to play on it. This also helps with the overall theme for the cathedral too. I really am thinking 40k and going Imperial. I want to put some Sisters of Battle and some Space Marine like icons and banners and really incorporate that into the terrain itself. So as mentioned before, there's a couple of video concepts that we're going to do around this cathedral build. The first one is this video, which is just basically putting it back together. I want to make sure that everything is looking nice and tidy before we get started. The next video is going to be about our stained glass windows. I'm really excited to get started on this particular project. It's something I've wanted to do for quite a while. Don't know if I'm going to have to go with resin or 3D printing, but I'm really excited to just get stuck into it. The video after that is going to be looking at the inside of the actual cathedral. There's a couple of MDF terrain mini pieces that need to be built, like some pews, and I want to 3D print some stuff as well. There's also the organ at the very end of the church, which is absolutely stunning. After that, we're going to start working on the actual board itself. I'm thinking an autumn theme for this. Woodland Scenics have some amazing stuff they provided us with. There's some canopies and some tufts and some trees. I think the colors are just going to look so good next to the rainy style of the church. The last video is we're going to be putting it all together. So just slapping everything on and just making sure that it looks as awesome as it possibly can. Now, a kill team board needs armies to fight on. I've got my sisters, but what kind of army would smash up a church?
Desecrate a space nunnery? Don't mind if I do, but I'll need some reinforcements. Ravaged Star Armies of the Veil Touched is a brand new massive project live on GameFound right now. Created by Mini Wargaming, long-time content creators and passionate fans of spiky armored baddies. This campaign includes a massive range of miniatures that are all beautifully detailed. Chaos Knights that are called the Veil Touch. Rejoice, brothers!
And sisters. The Veil Touch includes a mind-blowing array of beautiful female models. A much needed change for a lot of the other spiky baddies that are currently on the market. With so many minis, Miniature Wargaming has created different packs that you're able to pledge for. But with all these awesome minis, you're probably going to want them all. I know I do. This is a physical campaign with amazing quality PVC miniatures, all made by Lazy Squire Games, the same company that made awesome games like Storm Thunder and Wild Ascent, previous videos that we've got on the channel here if you want to check them out. And I can tell you personally, I love all of the miniatures from these games, and you don't even need a 3D printer. They're there and ready for you to go. So check out the campaign on GameFound. Links are in the description below, and you only
only have 8 days, 8 hours, 8 minutes, 8 seconds, so you better hurry. And if you know why, then you know why.
Now it's time for phase 2 of my plan, which is to jump into Photoshop. So I'm gonna bring you guys along for the ride and I'm gonna show you how I photo bash things together to come up with concepts. Alrighty, so I'm pulling just a couple of images from the web just to kind of get my idea down. This isn't gonna be published or anything, so I'm just pulling stuff that I think is gonna look and work really well. I'm just gonna stick some trees in the background just so I've got the color right, so I can make sure that the colors I choose elsewhere are gonna match really nicely. Next, I'm gonna lay down some cobblestone. I'm thinking some mossy cobblestone, possibly for the inside and outside as well. And then just putting some dirt in as well, just to sort of symbolize that it's the bottom of the board. Next, I'm gonna put in some dark stone. I think this is gonna work really well with the oranges in the background and kind of turn it more to a bluey tone. I really like the little different colors that are in here though, the little bits of orange and gray, they work really nicely. I do want this cathedral to appear quite dark and old. It's definitely not something that's new. It's been here for a long time, so I wanna make sure it gets that aged look on it. Next, I'm just gonna put down some color on the door. I think I just wanna go for a nice wood color, nothing too special there. I wanna incorporate just a little bit of lightness to this really dark texture. So I'm just gonna put some white cobblestone around that door frame. Next, I'm just gonna start blocking in some frames for the stained glass windows. These are typically black, so I'm just gonna paint them black. Google search for a couple of stained glass windows ideas. I really love these beautiful, intricate windows. There's so many different ones to choose from and the colors are absolutely gorgeous. I really want to make sure that I can capture the way that the light hits these windows in this terrain build. For now, I just went with a really sort of stereotypical cathedral sort of look that kind of got through the message of a more ornate window. I just popped this into Photoshop, put it in, cropped it out, and then gave it a bit of an effect to really emphasize the glow that I want to have. I'm thinking ideally I want to change these into like a Sister of Battle or an Angel or a Space Marine, or maybe all of them if I possibly could. I think that'll look sick. For these small little windows up the top, I'm just gonna make this super simple and just do a crosshatch style window. They're so small in comparison, I don't really need to make these huge or ornate. As long as they've got that color shining through, that's all that's really important. Lastly, I'm just gonna put a little bit of a border around the cathedral just to kind of make it stand out a little bit. I'm so happy with the way that this looks. But now it's time to move on to the inside. Okay, so here is the inside of the cathedral. Same as last time, I'm just gonna start blocking out areas and putting in backgrounds and a bottom ground layer as well. For the inside, I'm just gonna pop out certain bits of the terrain. Like this organ, for example, it's so beautiful. I just wanna make sure I do a really good job on this. I'm also gonna cut out the staircase too, because I think I want this to look a bit different, but I'm not 100% sure just how yet. So with our cathedral build, we also got some miniature pews made out of MDF that I need to build up. These are all gonna be perfectly made, but I have a feeling I'm gonna have to destroy a couple of them to make them look a bit, you know, broken and dusty and old. I really wanna 3D print some little miniature candles and candelabras. I'm thinking of printing some other bits and pieces as well, like some books, maybe a lost bolter or some shells. That could look really cool too. I want to make sure this terrain has lots of life and lots of interesting things to look at. Something I definitely want to do is incorporate some banners. I think this would look so sick. Again, if I can get these 3D printed, that would be awesome, but I might have to do some trial and error into maybe some other types of materials. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Alrighty, it's looking pretty done, but there's one last thing I need to add, and that's some foliage. I'm gonna add some autumn leaves that have been falling and have started to decay on the bottom of the floor. I also just want to look at this organ. Now, there's a couple of ways I could paint this, but I also don't want to spend too much time here going through the process. A quick Google search gave me some options, and I found one that I absolutely just fell in love with. It's this beautiful white style organ with these silver pipes. It just looks so angelic and beautiful. I think I want to paint it like this. For now, I'm just going to quickly pop it into the piece, but I've saved it later for a reference. While doing the inside, I remembered one thing that I wanted to add to the front, just as a little final touch. And what is a cathedral without some tombstones? So I just quickly wanted to pop a couple of those in just so I know to remember to put some in later. So here's both the inside and the outside of our cathedral all done. All right, Jen, and it's back to you in the studio. That was so lame. All right, And with that said and done, well, there's the concept for our cathedral. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video and following along with the journey. I have some big plans for this build and I cannot wait to start every single step and bring you guys along for the journey. If you have any suggestions for the stuff that you've seen today, please leave a comment below. I love to read them and hear your thoughts. I just want to say a big thank you and shout out to all of our Patreons. You guys started this journey with us and I hope that you're ready to see what we have in store. We've recently made some huge changes, so if you feel like supporting us, please have a look below. We'd love to have your support. Alrighty, well, now that that's all done, I guess it's time for the really awkward outro. And I never done an awkward outro before.